Welcome to Life Hair. My name is James Atkinson. Thank you very much for choosing to join into this week's episode. Now, this week's episode, we're going to look at some transformations. I haven't got the credits for anybody that's done any of these videos, so sorry if you see your video on here. I give full credit to the person who made it though, which is Beauty Palace Now. I love these compilation videos for my own inspiration and thoughts about how I think about hair. So let's jump into today's episode. A lot of hair coming off here, a big chop, and it's one of those ones where they use the comb a lot to elevate the hair. Lots of people don't like these kind of techniques. If you can get the results, great, but it makes it very, very difficult to create consistent and even results. I don't love the styling on this as well. I hate twisty, like GHD tongs on shorter hair. I think it's quite aging. And I don't think that haircut did her much favors. Lots and lots of hair here now, a tremendous amount of hair. He's joking with her about how he's gonna chop it all off, but a very, very, very thick head of hair indeed. A lot of work to do. And I haven't seen this all, but I have had a glimpse of the actual result because these are the first two things that I watched. So from here on out, I've seen nothing. I'll be watching with you. The color that they do here though, I'm not a big fan of, and you'll see why in a moment. It's very, very white at the front. It doesn't really suit her complexion very much, as you can see. You know, she's got quite a rosy skin tone and that very ice white to finish. Not everything has to be free of yellow or white, you know, for it to be a nice color, right? And the color they've put behind is very, very flat and ashen. She's a pretty girl, right? They didn't need to make her hair white and dark ash brown at the back. I don't know. Personally, don't love it. And I think the obsession with ash from a consumer level needs to dissipate. Just my humble opinion. Right, so from here on out, I haven't seen anything. So let's see what we get here. Okay, lots of curly hair, very, very thick curly hair. Cool cutting color with the lines on there. So lots of over direction, remove some of the length, creating probably some sort of shag or wolf cut haircut, I'd imagine, looking at this technique. Like the carving around the face there to get that real wolf cut vibes around the edges. Oh, this is cool. I like this haircut. And it really suits her. It keeps her looking very young, which she is, of course, but sometimes haircuts we see can age people. She has got a lot of hair. I can't imagine oh, right, they're going full chop. Well, I hope this isn't one of those situations where this haircut ages her, because she looks very young and lively. She definitely looks older. Looking at this image here, she definitely looks older than she did with the long hair. Does it suit her? Yes, she's got a pretty face, that's for sure. So she's going to suit a lot of hairstyles. But I think you've got to be a little bit mindful, unless you're wanting to look older. These hairstyles can be aging. It needs to be more textured, more interesting, not too conservative, I believe, to kind of keep a youthfulness to it that a lot of these haircuts don't have. Nice shape though. I mean, no arguing with the actual haircut. It looks lovely. She wants volume. Oh, I think this is just a blow dry. I do like a bouncy blow dry though. Oh, and tongs, going all in, setting it, back combing, right. Do love a good blow dry. This blow dry is epic. That is seriously beautiful. She looks amazing like that. Down in the comment section, let me know if you love a big bouncy blow dry or you hate a big bouncy blow dry. Okay, looks like it's going to be a big chop again. Here's another one of those collars. This is the first time I've ever seen these collars. I don't know why they plait the hair to do that though, and then cut it above the collar. That doesn't make sense. What are they putting on here then? Bit of color. Ooh, nice. Again, just from that profile view, if we just bear that in our mind and skip back to here, I think she actually looks a bit younger with longer hair. Now, I'm not saying cutting your hair off ages you, right? Wrong. But you have to be mindful of the shape that you're going to give somebody is in line with their age I mean, like from here, let's skip back forward. Instantly, that actually looks better than when they styled it too straight actually. But when we get to the end result, that is definitely, my humble opinion, aging on her. Got to be mindful, guys, of the haircuts we give people. She's got a lot of thick hair. If you're going to cut it that short, she's going to have to style it straight or do something with it in terms of styling. It's not exactly looking like as young and a trendy a haircut as I'd want to give that lady. But if we put lots of layers into her hair, she might struggle to manage it. So is a bob the right haircut for her? Tell me in the comment section. Now he's zhuzhed it up a little bit, it looks a bit better, but I still think it needs to be longer. Personally, she probably should have had a lob or something of that nature, a bit longer that she could wear more wavy. This is going to look very, very thick and thatched out when it's left to dry naturally with that wave that she had in the beginning. What a real chop. We're going for a real chop. Right, here he goes. He's going in with the scissor over comb right from the get-go. Okay, bit of graduation, quick way of doing graduation, can be done. Another one that's coming straight in with the comb. You know, if you're going to remove a lot of length, I don't mind that too much. He's missed a bit of hair there, he's cutting behind that bit of hair. Cut that off later. So cutting from very, very short, or short to very, very long rather, in the front section there, obviously that's going to create a lot of length travelling towards the front. Again, like we saw before, right, with these really like over-styled looks, they do make the clients look older. If we go back to the beginning of this video when he's looking at the length, she looks quite young there, you know, she is probably quite young. She is quite young. She isn't even probably, right? She is young. But to cut it off and then style it like this. Now, I'm no makeup expert, but obviously the makeup here as well, quite prominent, and she didn't have makeup in the beginning. But I think that contributes to this making her look a bit older. But this is the thing about like that kind of over-styled vibe. You know, it's not very youthful. You definitely have to think about that. And that's also a lot of work for her to recreate that every day. So, you know, not a big fan of these kind of over-styled looks because it just arcs back to something that's old-fashioned. Right then, big chop coming, but here I've seen, you know, that obviously they've taken it off collarbone, provided they don't make this too short. This is a nice length, right? This is a more youthful length. You can let this dry naturally. You can see she's got a bit of a wave texture in her hair there. They've styled it with a more modern wave. I really, really like this end result. It is more current. It's definitely not aging her. It's a fantastic end result. Simplicity really is what keeps things looking modern at the moment, right? Things will change in time, but right now, simplicity is what keeps things looking fresh. It's nice and blunt. She has got good hair for this because it's not too thick. She can wear this natural because it's not very layered. It looks very beautiful indeed. And she's clearly thrilled, yes? Oh, hello, chin length bob, here we come. Nice little fringe, bit of twist cutting, bit of texture. Blow dried it. This lady's what, 40-ish, between 40 and 50. I'm not a great judge of women's age, right? But you know, they've blow dried it quite smooth. She's got quite coarse hair, we saw from the beginning there. So she's gonna have to dry this straight every day. So that's something that you obviously need to talk about to the client. If she's very happy by drying her hair smooth, you know, etc., etc., wonderful, it's going to work out well. The fringe works okay, but as we've spoke about in previous videos, depending on the face shape, that level, that line of bob cut can be a little tricky to wear. Now her face does taper in a little bit there, so that's fine. The fringe, you know, always draws the eye sideways, yes, because that horizontal line will draw the eye sideways. And then you've got this kind of very boxy shape, and then she tapers in quite quickly. I think she's just about getting away with this shape. But I always say people with high cheekbones, like she's got a fairly high cheekbone, right? Here and here. I always think to myself that you don't want that kind of very wide round feel from that because it's kind of drawing out. So they've already got the width, the height here. You don't want too big and wide there. So it's better if they've got flatter, less cheekbones if you're going to kind of create big and wide. It's a very hard face shape to balance. You've got high cheekbones and that kind of heart-shaped face. Let's see it right at the very end. This looks better with that little bit of texture in it for sure, that he's put that little bend in the front. I quite like that. It's going to be very, very hard to maintain. Okay, another restyle here, obviously, coming in for the big chop, talking about bits to shape around the face. Very, very popular thing at the moment, and got a very, very interesting way of doing this here. Coming in with the comb, twisting, and then cutting up and into the hair, creating lots of texture and movement. Very nice, cutting up and into there again. This is going to be very, very difficult to repeat, okay? Remember that all of these techniques are fine, but very, very difficult to go back and do. But they do create very specific textures and looks to the hair that you can't always create club cutting the hair. I like the texture that brought out here. I actually like the fact that the way that they've styled it, actually, you know, they've created texture, movement. This is what I was saying 2 seconds ago, and we'll just go back. At this point, I thought this was going to age her. Right, another classic example of something aging somebody with their haircut, right? But when we go forward and we look at this finished result, actually where they styled it, it's very natural, it's very, the natural movements there in the hair, those techniques that they use to free the hair, to bring out the natural texture, the slightly back styling, actually does make it look nice and trendy and young. So that is one of the key things, by the way, guys, if you're looking for your hair to look trendy or, you know, follow the youthful nature of hair, then remember, don't over style it. Now looking at this woman's face shape, very, very slim in here, oval, but comes in very tight, quite a long face shape. So a fringe would be good, right, to reduce that down. But also mindful that it's probably going to need some width here. Otherwise, it's going to look like a heavy line there and straight down here. So it's either going to need softening into the face a little bit to kind of bring that shape. Otherwise, it's going to look like a rectangle. It's going to look like a phone. Going for the lob length, again, if that's the desired finished result, great, because the lob is very, very youthful. It can look very youthful in terms of the way it's styled. If it goes shorter, there's nothing wrong with that, of course. You can still style it, but it's as long as you're going to wear it playful and loose and simple, that's great. If you start putting waves in it, then I think that can age it quite quickly. If you put just a gentle wave in it, then that works out better than putting something in it that's too forced, too curly. Let's see what this looks like in the end. She looks happy anyway. You know, right now she's thrilled. Oh, they're going shorter. They're going right up into the neckline. So obviously, something to bear in mind is obviously if you do go right up into that neckline, you're going to be, you know, in that kind of short bob territory. Before we can see the colour and all that jazz, in that short bob territory, remember, unless they are going to put kind of some fringe in here, her face is quite long. If that bob is in the wrong spot, it's just going to accentuate that. Right, here we go, finished result. Let's try and get some eyeballs on the front of it. No, that does look nice, that is nice. It doesn't do much for the length of her face though. She probably could have done with more fringe, I mean, maybe she's not worried about that, right? But that's the sort of advice you might want to give her. You know, when we're talking about face shapes, she has got that little bit of width that I was saying about here, right in that cheekbone area, that's helping. But maybe definitely I would have put some, maybe even just a few soft pieces in, freehand, just to kind of diffuse the length of the face. Just my humble opinion, but you know, something to take away. If you've got this kind of face shape and you're looking for the right kind of hairstyle for you, then a little soft fringe could go a long way. Restyle, okay, drawing lines on the cheekbones and the cheeks and the jawline. That, don't know why I made my eye hurt when you give me a twitchy eye when you did that. Okay, lob length, going for the crisscross fringe. Quite a good way of cutting fringe, actually. I tried that recently through the earring. Different. Okay, cutting some really short shaping around the front there. Excellent. This is, you know, providing this doesn't go too short and the styling's not too fussy, this could be good on her. She's very young, right? So got to be careful. I like that. It's got a 70s vibe. It's kind of shaggy, you know, Farrah Fawcett without the flick back, more of a forward on face kind of vibe. But it does look nice. I do really like it on her. It hasn't aged her because it's got that kind of very loose styling, you know, it's not too forced, it's very flicky. It is working for her and it hasn't aged her, which is great. Right, let's see what we get here. Through the comb, straight through the comb again. Little bit of trimming around the edges, nice. I like these little peekaboo details around the edge, I really do, I think they look great. She's got short hair already, she's a very attractive woman. She's got quite a long face, high cheekbones, longer chin shape, right? So when we're thinking about these things, when the hair comes in, we want width, right? We need width on the sides. The undercut is very low, so that won't impact the width too much, but, you know, just give her a little cheeky detail when she hooks it behind her ear. That will look great. But, you know, because she's got those high cheekbones, it tapers in quite fast through there. Well, obviously, what you know, probably don't want to necessarily come in at this length unless it's very chopped into and texturized. Let's see what this end result actually looks like on her. Now, if we see her from the front, you know, as I was saying, she does come in quite sharply here. Well, not sharply, but she comes in to her chin, tapers down from her jawline down. And then she's quite flat here. So definitely that triangular shape they've created, that will be good on this particular face shape. And again, providing the hairstyling is not too fussy, this will look very youthful on her. And it's a really nice end result, actually. I really like it on her. It hasn't aged her from when we saw her before. I know she had shorter hair in the beginning, but, you know, this is a nice complementary hairstyle to this young lady's face. And she looks happy-ish. Okay, another bob here. You know, I think when you go quite short with a bob, you've got to be careful how these are styled. It needs lots of weight removal going on here. And this is probably a key feature of keeping it youthful. That big blow dry though on that length, that never works for me. I just personally feel like that over styling ages her quite a lot, and that is something you've got to bear in mind, guys. And this is the takeaway point from today. If you want to keep your haircuts and style youthful, your styling has to be natural, organic, lived in. You don't want it to be overdone. I mean, obviously there's certain criteria, certain places where people live are all different, right? But the styling needs to be a more gentle version of styling. Diffusers, diffuser bags, lighter products, creams, oils, those kind of things to kind of create a more natural vibe, or which is very difficult to do, I appreciate, right? It's a bit like making someone's hair messy, but deliberately messy, okay? It's not an easy thing to do. These styles definitely look overcooked to me when they're blow dried like this, as opposed to some of the other styles we saw today where the styling was a little bit more lived in, a bit more natural, and it looks beautiful like that.